anyways, today I'm going to be showing off my Armageddon flag build, and yeah, I don't want to waste any time. I just want to jump into it. I do want to give a big thanks to Moxie for finding out the true potential of the lead sprinkler. Without his videos, this wouldn't be possible. Anyways, we're just going to start right into the action skill tree. Starting with the skill tree, we're going to start with the green tree, or the blue tree, excuse me, and put 3 into there, and that's it. That's it for the blue tree. Now onto the green tree, you're going to put 5 into furious attacks, and 5 into eager to impress. Now put 1 to lick the wounds, 3 into turn tail and run, and as for points to move the skill tree, you can put them into any of these. I put them into overclocked for the fire rate, but I can also recommend self-repairing system, depending on if you want more fire rate or more health. You only want to put 3 into whatever you choose though. Now for Fast and Furious, put 3 in there, 5 into hidden machines, and then 1 into the power inside. Go ahead and throw in fadeaway, unblinking eye, and not my circus. I like to use the gunslinger jabber, but there will be a section of the video going in depth on all the variations you can make to this build. Anyways, I use the gunslinger jabber, and yeah, that will be it for the green skill tree. On to the orange skill tree, you want to put 5 into interplanetary stalker. You're not going to want to put anything into leave no trace. This is not a build based around ammo regen, it's based around damage in a short amount of time. Anyways, go ahead and put 5 into Hunter's Eye. This is really good against Wotan and the Valkyrie squad. Put 3 into Head Count, 5 into Two Fang, 3 into Big Game, 3 into Most Dangerous Game, 1 into Galactic Shadow, and 1 into Megavore. Alright, so that's it for all the skill trees. We're going to show off the gear now. So, for gear, I start off with the lead sprinkler. You're going to want the 100% anointment on all your weapons. You don't need them, but it does help a lot. So, lead sprinkler, Maggie, unseen threat, and then just a random gun that you like a lot. Again, I will be going into an in-depth build in a minute. And yeah, so now for the shields, any shield as long as it has the action skill and 50% bonus elemental damage. Same thing for the grenades, any sort of grenade as long as it has the action skill and 50% bonus damage. Onto your class mod, you're going to use a bounty hunter for bossing and a cosmic stalker for mobbing. For your artifact, doesn't matter what artifact you have, as long as you have the 40% area of effect damage, and that only comes on level 57 artifacts. So any level 50 artifact or level 57 artifact with that 40% area of effect damage. The ideal artifact would be Last Stand Auto Idol, but anything works. I would say put Auto Idol on just for the survivability. Anyways, so that is the gear. So we're about to go into the in-depth part of the build. This is a new thing I'm going to be doing for all my build videos, and it is just going into in-depth, going into every little detail about the build and figuring out why I did it and why it makes the build better. If you're not interested in that, I will have a timestamp up right now showing going straight to testing the build. Alright, let's go. So with this in-depth part of the build, I'll be telling you why I picked these weapons, why I picked the certain class mods I did, and why the percentages of these class mods and artifacts are very important. Anyways, so if I take off my both my bounty hunter and my artifact, you'll see with the lead sprinkler, which will be your main if I start off with the lead sprinkler, which will be your main mobbing and bossing weapon, with some exceptions, you can see right here the bullets don't hit almost ever. So you have those extra 3 bullets, but they never hit. So doesn't matter how much you shoot, they'll never hit. You can see, they just never hit. So what I found out, or what Moxie, I should say, what Moxie found out on his video, and you should definitely go look at it, is if you have a class mod with splash damage radius, which I have right here, you will begin to start hitting these extra things. You can see right there, it does hit. The only problem is, as you could have seen in that bullet right there, it doesn't hit all the time. It only hits some of the times. So you can see they're shooting in 3 different directions, but only one of those are hitting. Right there, only one, only one, only one, and only one. So that's not really enough splash damage, but instead of using a class mod, you can use a normal one, which will give you a lot better stats, such as this class mod I have here, which is admittedly much better than that one. You don't have to have the splash damage radius on there, so you don't have to sacrifice any stats. So you have your best class mod, and then you go ahead and find any artifact with area of effect damage, and I found this out just a day ago. Area of effect damage buffs splash damage radius, so it gives you 40% splash damage radius, and you can see here from 30% to 40% on your artifact. It hits, they all hit, it hits, they all hit. So you can see there, they are all hitting, and yeah, no matter where you shoot, they all hit. So that's what I found, and I will also show off a level 51, so you can see that this one here has 33% area of effect compared to 40% area of effect. And I'll go ahead and shoot him. So I do have 33% area of effect on this one. It's a level 50, and you can see only that one hits. See, only one hit, only one hit. That one doesn't hit. That one doesn't hit, or that one hits. So only this one hits because it's hitting the wall. If it wasn't hitting the wall, you can see it doesn't hit. So that's why it's extremely important to have your level 57 artifact have 40% area of effect damage. If you don't have that, this build is basically pointless. So make sure to have that, and you can have any sort of stats you want on your bounty hunter. And yeah, so that explains my artifact and my class mod. Now onto my shields, and I'm sure most of you guys know about this, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Your action skill end with 50% bonus corrosive damage adds 50% corrosive damage and shock damage and whatever. So say I'm doing 100 damage with a pistol, and I shoot him once, and then my action skill ends, and I shoot him again. That 100 damage, I'll also do the base 100 damage as well as 50 corrosive damage, right? And that's just like half of your damage is going to be an element, and then with the other one, you're getting 100% elemental damage from 2 different elements, which is extremely good. And of course, you're going to want to pick what element you're using depending on who you're fighting. So say you're going after Wotan, you should use shock and corrosive like I have here. Say you're fighting Grave Ward, you're going to want to use fire and radiation. So it just depends on who you're fighting. Anyways, now on to the unseen threat. But for this build, it is basically only used for fighting Grave Ward or larger bosses like Tyrene. Just bosses that you're not able to hit the spread of the lead sprinkler with. So I'll show here. Imagine that this car is a... Come on now, respawn. There you go. Imagine that this... Hello. There it is. Imagine this car is a large boss. If I shoot it, you can see it wouldn't hit it. If say it was Grave Ward and it's falling down, it doesn't have ground to hit, so it's not going to hit it. Say it's Tyrene, you're not going to be hitting your crit spots, so it's better to use the unseen threat. And yeah, so that's why I have the unseen threat in the build. And also fights that you're not going to be using the unseen threats, which aren't many. I'd say the ones that I can think of right off the top of my head would be only Grave Ward and Tyrene. You're going to want to use the Pro of Ineffable Knowledge, and the reason why that is because the only reason why you're using this is for the area of effect damage. Now that you're not using the Lead Sprinkler, you don't have to have that anymore. So you put on the Pro of Ineffable Knowledge, it gives you that much more damage. And yeah, so that is the in-depth look of the gear. We're going to go to the skill tree now. Alright, so why I used Fadeaway, you can do Rack Attack. If you do Rack Attack, make sure to equip Rack Attack, and then do Falconer's Feast and Flock and Load. The reason why I have these two on is because they synergize really good with them. So with this one, you're shooting at 4 racks instead of just 2 because of the 2 additional racks, and then that in turn makes it, instead of having 7% health, and what a lot of people don't know is that it's not just 7% health for all of the racks, it's 7% health per rack. So when you throw out 4 racks, you're getting 7% health for each rack, which is going to end up being 28% health each rack attack you use. And that's extremely good for staying alive. So if you go ahead and come over here, and I'll go ahead and shoot it off, shoot this, you can see it's already back. And you basically use it all the time. You're basically going to be at full health all the time with that. And yeah, so that's the only reason why I'd say Rack Attack is viable, but it doesn't add any really good damage like Fadeaway does. Because what Fadeaway does is, you can see it has that like really high critical hit damage. So with your critical hit, you will be able to hit insane damage. And that is just like the starting amounts. And oh, I haven't even hit that, so you'll be able to see right here. Just 3 bullets and it's doing a few 100,000 damage. So that's just like a lot, and you can imagine how much damage it's going to do if you are just unloading after that. And in the end, I believe it is definitely more worth your while to have your Fadeaway rather than your Flak. So onto the pets. The reason why I used the Gunslinger Jabber is because of the movement speed and the critical hit damage. Now, if you don't want to have it for the critical hit damage or the movement speed, you're going to want to use the Spider Ant Scorcher. This is really only used for the health regeneration, but it's also useful for the elemental damage if you're going for more of an elemental build. But again, it's this build is more based off of like critical damage and stuff like that, so you're definitely going to want to use the Gunslinger Jabber, in my opinion. So, Frenzy. I have 3 because of my Bounty Hunter. I would say if you can get 5 on Frenzy, that'd be perfect. And the reason why you want 5 on there is because you might be asking, well, you can't have He Bites, so how are you going to do damage? That's why you would use the Gunslinger Jabber, because your Gunslinger Jabber has a little SMG that he shoots and it does damage. So you're constantly doing damage with him, then that means you're constantly getting stacks of Frenzy. So the more Frenzy you can get on your class mod, the better. Anyways, that's it for the in-depth part of the build, and yeah, I'll go ahead and see you guys at Athenas for the testing. Alright, so I'm here on Athenas. Did I just get a low battery warning? I did. Alright, so I'm here on Athenas, and I'm going to make this short and sweet. We're going to take on the first area, then go straight to Toronto, and that'll be the end of the video. So with this build, you're going to want to stay pretty far away from your enemies. With this gun, it does like so much damage so fast, and the splash radius is just so large that you'll die if you're anywhere near them. So you just want to stay far away, and you'll be able to see what that looks like right now. I'm going to mute myself like I do in all my builds, and I'll talk to you guys after. Alright, so you can see there, extremely easy mobbing. Yeah, so that was it for the mobbing. It worked really well. I don't think I have the correct elements on, so I'm going to go ahead and throw on shock and radiation, and I'm going to go ahead and meet you guys at Trant, and I'll show you guys how this works with Trant. I'll see you guys there. Alright, so I'm here at Trant, and we're just going to jump into it. You'll see how fast and easy this is. I'm going to go ahead and, bam, get behind him, throw an It's Piss, wait for it, and it's over. Alright, so I hope you guys liked the build. It's extremely fun, and yeah, if you... that's not bad. Anyways, if you liked it, leave a like and whatever, and stuff and things. And yeah, if you want the build, go ahead and add me on PS4. My name is Slowbrew, but an I instead of an L. And yeah, go ahead and join the Borderlands community. It's on the screen right now. And besides that, I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.